let's go now to the tune in part of our little segment here. So Romy, what is it to tune in? What would you say?
Well, when I think of tune in, right, we're going inside, and I think of tuning in to the breath is the best way for me to think about tuning in, because then I can take that time to really get inside my body, to land inside of my body. And I think it's so interesting that there's the way that we breathe, and especially as dancers, I think that breath can start to be very shallow, and it's not something you want to show. Nobody wants to see a dancer heaving, right? But obviously we're exerting so much physical energy that the breath is vitally important. So for me, when I tune into the breath, what I learned, and I learned this as I became pregnant and had my son, how important the breathing was to go down into using the diaphragm. So what we call diaphragm breathing. So, and then I realized why as a dancer, I never knew about this, because when you do diaphragm breathing, you really let your belly go. So you take that inhale and you release, and you take that full breath down deep into the belly, letting it expand as though you're filling up a balloon inside your body. And then as you exhale, the navel comes and draws back into the spine, and that's bringing the diaphragm back up. So when we take the inhale, the diaphragm is pushing down, and that's what fills up our belly and comes up and fills up the lungs. And then we exhale and it comes back, the navel draws back into the spine. So the reason this breath is so important is because it helps us to get into the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we are in the parasympathetic nervous system, that's a place where we can rest and digest, where our healing can happen, where the things that we want to change can actually take place, where we really talk to our whole system. And that homeostasis, that force in our body, that's the force to be healthy, can really live and get to thrive. And if we're not in that, when we don't take that time to be in our parasympathetic system, we're doing, maybe that chest breathing, and we're very much in our heads and we're in fear. And that's a signal that's your sympathetic nervous system. And that's the fight or flight that activates in your body. So that's that place where you're going to feel like you have to run for your life, or you're going to have to fight. So when we're in that place, the adrenals are going to get exhausted, and you're going to have a whole cascading effect that's even going to affect the brain and your mentality, right? And what's happening inside of the chemistry of your brain. So when we go into that parasympathetic nervous system, we get to really nourish ourselves, and that's where our brains can actually also function in very much of a more truthful, correct way, where we're not being reactive, we're not feeling like victims, right? But we can actually tune. So by tuning in to that breath, right, we're giving ourselves this opportunity to heal in every way, to heal physically, to kind of process. There's a lot to process right now in our world. Everyone's going through so much. And so to take that time to just tune in to your breath, it's that simple. And then it's that simple just to relax the belly as you take the breath. And then let the navel draw back into the spine. And just as often as you can in the day, trying to tune into that breath, taking the time to just feel your body, feel where you're at, and feel your emotions.
Right. And with that said, so Romy and I are really big proponents of it's okay to feel, it's okay to have emotions. In fact, every emotion has something positive about it, even the ones that we have labeled as negative emotions. Anger is there to protect you. Anger is there to say something has happened to you. Your boundary has been invaded. Fear is there to say there's danger. Sadness is there to say there's something you're sad about. So we really want to support you all in knowing that whatever you're feeling is okay. We all have a right to feel. It's how we act out on those feelings that we all need tools to learn how to handle. But in the privacy of all of our own hearts, we all have the right to feel exactly how we feel. In fact, it's important. It's physiologically important. It's psychologically important. So we'd like to support you all in just taking a moment to go into the bathroom if you don't have any personal space, and just take some breaths and just tune in to what you're feeling. What are you thinking and feeling? Sometimes it doesn't even matter what you're thinking. Let the thoughts, let the feelings just be there, and it's all okay. I think in future segments, we'd like to go more into different breaths, but also look at the different ways that what we're feeling can affect us, what not breathing can probably do psychologically and physiologically. It can act out in a lot of ways, in reactive behavior, but also something that I think is important, because I've had to deal a lot of this as a person with diabetes, is food cravings, things that I know I should be eating or how much I should be eating. And then I get out of control based on either what I'm feeling or what I'm not letting myself feel will influence all of that.
Yeah, we have so many emotions going on. So of course that can lead to emotional eating.
That's right. That's
right. Yeah. So these are things that are really real, right? And really big right now for everybody. Everybody's going through this, but we really want to reach out to all of you dancers. We want to hear, things that you guys want to talk about. We have a lot of subjects that we want to talk about with you guys because we feel like we really have some tips and tools. And we just even want to open up these conversations. These conversations should be had. And so we're really excited. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to work on your turnout. And we're signing off.
Okay, thank you. See you next time.